Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Memorial Day to Korea. Actually, June the 6th is their Memorial Day. It's still June the 6th in the United States, so um, many Koreans, though, because of the time difference, have already celebrated their Memorial Day. It's a holiday. And on their Memorial Day, um, I hope that people go either to the UN Memorial Cemetery in Busan or to the Korean Military Cemetery in Daejeon. The UN Memorial Cemetery in Busan is mostly soldiers from other countries that fought in the Korean War, soldiers that fought with South Korea, but there are some South Koreans that are interned there because there were Katusa soldiers even in the Korean War that were assigned to U.S. units. Some were actually assigned to Belgian units. Some were assigned to units in Luxembourg, and they have the option of being interned there. And South Korea has a very nice section in the UN Memorial Cemetery in Busan, and I highly recommend that people see those graves. Also, the Korean Military Cemetery in Daejeon is really good cemetery, and the graves are very well kept, and I don't think anyone would regret their visit there. But the South Korean soldiers have been fighting bravely for years, and South Korean soldiers fought in the Vietnam War. Actually, their Marines were undefeated in the Vietnam War. Did not lose a single engagement. And the South Korean 9th Infantry Division, they were known as the White Tigers. And they were tough and ferocious, and anytime the Americans needed to make sure the NVA or the Viet Cong were defeated, they would send in the South Korean 9th Infantry Division, and then the Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese Army, they would never attack a South Korean Marine base unless they were 100% sure that they were going to win, because the South Korean Marines were that tough and that efficient. Even if there was a 98 or 99% chance that the Viet Cong or the NVA were going to win, they didn't take the chance to attack or surprise attack the South Korean Marine base. So I need to remember the brave soldiers that didn't make it home in Vietnam, and they sacrificed a lot. All right. Also, there were many South Korean soldiers that did fight and die bravely in the Korean War, particularly the division that was commanded by Pak Sun-yup. Many of the soldiers there in the Korean War, when North Korea first invaded on June 25th, 1950, many of those soldiers threw dynamite close to the Russian-made T-34 tanks, but for the dynamite to be effective, the soldiers had to get very close and throw it, and so many of the South Korean soldiers sacrificed their own life to try to keep North Korean T-34 tanks from going into South Korea. And that's an example of extraordinary heroism. And also, No Gum-suk, he was on July 4th, 1950, he was a P-51 pilot for the South Korean Air Force. They had a handful of planes in the Korean War, and there were a few South Korean pilots during that time. And his P-51 Mustang ran out of ammunition, but instead of going back to base, he crashed into a North Korean T-34 tank to prevent the T-34 tank from advancing into South Korea, and that's a true hero there. He has a bust in honor of him at the War Memorial in Seoul, and that was the bust that honestly really caught my attention when I went to the War Memorial there. So, God bless these brave South Korean soldiers. They have done many amazing things, and to keep their memory alive, also remember the 46 South Korean sailors that died in the sinking of the Cheonan when North Korea unjustly sunk the Cheonan. 46 South Korean sailors passed away on that day. And also, remember the shelling of Yeonpyeong-do. 2 South Korean Marines passed away then, and that was in November of 2010. And the sinking of the Cheonan was on March 26, 2010. And also remember the South Korean sailors that died in the clash of the West Sea in 1999 and 2002. No Limit Line NLL is a good... Northern Limit Line NLL is a really good movie that depicts the 2002 engagement between the North and South Korean navies, and it remembers the South Korean sailors who passed away during that time. So anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.